Hello traders, this is Rich from tradesight. Here's a look at the market leading ETFs via our proprietary scans for the coming week. This is going to be for Monday, July 28th, 2014. Selling out the day right now. We've got a buy indication in the Qs and the diamonds. The DIA are actually showing a downside CPS. This is a little bit notable because it's coming with some volume as well. So downside CPS on the diamonds. So potentially looking for some weakness in the broad market next week. Moving on to the individual sectors. Let's take a look and see what they have to tell us. Individual sectors are kind of balanced here. There is some are a couple of deviations here. The VNQ has a downside CPS and a volume bump. We've also got a volume bump in the SMH that tracks the semiconductors. The semiconductors were very weak on Friday, getting a downside CPS there. So keep an eye on the basket, which is the SMH or some of the individual names if you prefer to play them that way. Actually, SanDisk is tracing out a nice little continuation pattern. We've got a volume deviation here in the XLF that you can see. Everything else is fairly tight here. There is definitely some pretty good weakness in the SMH, as we talked about before. That one's 1.3% below the day's open and closing, pretty well below the day's the VWAP. The XLU is also fairly weak versus its open and the VWAP, but that one's on kind of light volume. Moving on to the commodities, we've got a contra candle in the USO, meaning that it was lower on the day but closing above the day's open with a particular pattern behind it, so that's going to have an upside interest probably on Monday. The GDX actually closed really strong, more than 2.5% above the day's open and very strongly above the day's VWAP. Gold going at about 1307 right now, so a pretty strong close there. The broad-based DBA has an upside CPS, but that one's on very light volume. Not seeing too much from the bonds. The AGG has a contra candle set up, but it's on very light volume. Moving on to the foreign names. Got a volume bump in the EWJ and a contra sell candle. Also have a volume bump in the FXI that trades China, but that one does not have a signal with it. We also have a volume bump in the RSX that tracks Russia. That's obviously been in play all week. Moving on to the specials, don't really have a clear picture here. We've got some indications on both sides, so not really seeing evidence of the money managers rushing in and using these to hedge as they often do. So not really a lot to be learned here. We don't have any volume bumps or even any open close deviations. All right, here's a look at the individuals. We've got the broad-based ETFs up top and the sector-specific ones down below them. I think you want to focus on the diamonds. We do have that downward indication for Monday's trade, and we are 12 days up now in the Comer countdown. So that's definitely something that could come into play early next week. Here, the and the broad base, the XLB is 12 bars up in the exhaustion phase of the standard seeker. That's worth watching. The XLF is 13 bars up in the and 11 bars up in the Comer exhaustion phase. So those could all fire next week. We'll keep an eye on those. Nothing else is really all that close to setting up for next week, though we could see something in the aggressive exhaustion run for the PPH and possibly even the XLV for next week. All right, folks, as always, thanks for listening. This has been Rich for tradesight, and good luck next week.